This woman is Hwarem. She was a psychic who worked with another psychic named Bong Gil. They were heading to Los Angeles, America to meet clients who asked for their services. Upon arrival in Los Angeles, they went straight to a hospital to see the condition of their client's baby, who apparently had a supernatural disturbance. The mother saw her and Bong Gil looked a little disbelieving, but Hwarem, who was used to that, didn't care about it and immediately carried out a ritual to find out the cause behind the disturbance experienced by the baby. Soon after, she found out that the disturbance experienced by the baby turned out to have come from the family's own ancestors. After telling all that, the baby's mother, who at first didn't believe her, was immediately shocked. After an investigation at the hospital, Hwarem and Bong Gil then went to the baby's father to find out more about what happened. The baby's father, Ji-young, was the one who hired the two. He told them that he initially didn't believe in the supernatural terror that his family was experiencing, but when he witnessed his younger sibling commit suicide and his baby's condition, he started to believe and decided to ask for help from Hwarem and Bong Gil, despite being opposed by his family. Hwarem told him the results of her investigation, proving that everything was a terror due to interference from Ji-young's family ancestor who was buried in the wrong place and had to be immediately moved or cremated. For this reason, Hwarem asked for help from her teacher, Son-dok, and another person named Young-jun. Both were reliable in any supernatural cases. After Son-dok and Young-jun finished their work that day, they were visited by Hwarem and Bong Gil to offer them a high-paying job. Of course, they both immediately agreed to her offer without thinking about the risks that would occur. In short, the four immediately worked to solve Ji-young's case by trying to move Ji-young's ancestor's grave. During the process, Son-dok felt that something was off, but he just kept it to himself. Ji-young's ancestor's grave was at the foot of a mountain, and upon arrival at the grave, Son-dok felt that Ji-young was hiding something from him. After observing the area around the grave, Son-dok said that he could not move the grave for a specific reason. This surprised Hwarem and the others, since it was the first time Son-dok ever rejected a job. Hwarem didn't want a client to be disappointed after they paid a lot of money, so she tried to persuade Son-dok to continue their work, but he still didn't want to, while saying that the grave was in a very cursed place, and if they continued, there was no guarantee for their safety. But Ji-young kept asking Hwarem to help him because if they didn't do anything, his newborn baby would become the victim. Hearing this, Hwarem decided to help him by carrying out a ritual called the Replacement of Evil, where the ritual was carried out to outwit evil spirits, so that the relocation of the grave would not cause a disaster or put a curse on anybody. Son-dok was against it, but Hwarem insisted on doing her job, and in the end the ritual was carried out. When the ritual was carried out, Hwarem would continue to dance while holding a sharp weapon as if she was possessed, while the Bong Gil would continue to sound a drum. After the ritual, Young-jun ordered the gravediggers to immediately dig the body. At first, everything seemed to be going according to plan and there were no obstacles, but without the four of them knowing it after they left, one of the gravediggers, who was still their size snake, and with the shovel he held, he killed the snake, and right after that, the clouds suddenly turned black as if a bad omen was about to happen. On her way to the burial place, the ring suddenly fell. Son-dok saw that as a bad omen and told Ji-young to postpone the burial until tomorrow. Ji-young agreed and decided to put the body in the mortuary guarded by Young-jun, while Son-dok, who still felt something was strange, went to a temple not far from the initial grave. There he met a man and asked whether the man knew the history of Ji-young's ancestor's grave on the mountain. The man then told him that according to rumors, the grave belonged to the richest man in the north and was always the target of grave thieves, but none of the grave thieves ever succeeded in opening the tomb, and in fact, the thieves ended up killed thanks to the curse put on the grave. Upon hearing that, Son-dok rushed to contact Hwarem. Meanwhile, a guard of the mortuary was trying to open the coffin belonging to Ji-young's ancestor because he was tempted by the treasures inside. When Hwarem and Bong Gil came, the officer had managed to open the coffin a little, and just a moment later, the cold air immediately came out of it and made Hwarem suddenly unconscious. Son-dok and Young-jun, who found out about the incident, immediately went to check on Hwarem, who was currently being treated at the hospital. Hwarem said that something evil had come out of the coffin. At the same time, an old relative of Ji-young was seen opening a window after hearing a sound from the outside. Suddenly, something entered the house and killed the old man. Hwarem was seen carrying out a ritual to lure the spirit into Bong Gil's body so that she could find out what the spirit wanted. Hwarem finally found out that the spirit desired to destroy all his descendants. After hearing this, she immediately contacted Son-dok to rush to Ji-young's place. Meanwhile, Ji-young, who was alone, suddenly got a call from Son-dok to open the window and walked away from the door because the spirit was targeting him. However, it turned out that the one who called him was not Son-dok but the spirit himself, while the real Son-dok, who finally arrived at the place, found Ji-young already possessed by the spirit. Shortly after, Ji-young fell unconscious. Feeling that the situation was increasingly threatening the safety of a client's family, Soon-dok immediately contacted Hwarum and the others to cremate the body of Ji-young's ancestor, because if not, the entire family, including the baby, would become victims. It was seen that the spirit was targeting the baby, but fortunately, Hwarum and the others acted quickly by immediately cremating the body so that nobody was harmed. Not long after this incident, Soon-dok went to meet someone because he received a report that the man who dug the grave was seriously ill after returning from the grave. Upon meeting the gravedigger, the man kept telling him that he had killed a strange snake at the grave. Feeling something was wrong, Soon-dok returned to the initial burial site to confirm what the man told him. After digging for a while, he was shocked to see a snake with a human-like head. His shovel accidentally hit something, and after a little more digging, he found another coffin. Feeling that this was an oddity because the position of the coffin was unusual, he immediately contacted Yeon-jun, Bong-gil, and Hwarum to come. Not long after they arrived, the three were surprised to see what they found. Soon-dok said that when found, the coffin was buried vertically and was chained as if the coffin was never supposed to be opened by anyone. What was even more strange was that the height of the coffin was not common for most normal humans. It had a height of 2 adult humans. Hwarum felt there was something evil beyond the spirits of Ji-young's ancestors. Soon-dok felt that disaster might surround the area if they left the coffin as it was, so he decided to take it to reseal the coffin. The other had no other choice but to carry the mysterious coffin, but because it was late, Soon-dok took the initiative to the monk at the temple to stay overnight there. Hwarum was anxious about the mysterious coffin and decided to ask the monk to bring her sticky rice so she could make a barrier to keep them safe if the evil spirit inside the coffin came out. She also ordered Bong-gil to bring white horse blood to strengthen the barrier. Soon-dok, who still didn't understand the current situation, contacted Ji-young's aunt to tell her everything. Upon hearing that, the lady began telling him about the reason her ancestor was buried there. It turned out that her family ancestor was a northern trader. It turned out that she had no idea that there was another coffin under the grave. She then showed a photo from the past. Feeling that not much information could be known about this mysterious coffin, Soon-dok asked Bong-gil to chant some spells so that could all be safe. After that, they enjoyed the food prepared by the monk, and after that, they immediately went to sleep, not knowing that the real danger was lurking behind them. Later that night, the monk heard something and went out to check the source of the noise. Meanwhile, Bong-gil felt something pressing on top of him while he was sleeping, but he managed to expel the spirit that was pressing on him. He then heard the sound from the coffin and went to check it. There he saw an apparition try and kill the monk. Shocked, he immediately rushed over to Hwarum, who was in the car, to both check the coffin. Both were shocked to death when they saw the coffin had broken and the body inside had managed to get out through the roof, which had no barrier. Bong-gil shivered in fear when he remembered the evil spirit he had seen earlier. Seeing Bong-gil's unusual expression, Hwarum told him to wake Soon-dok and Yeon-jun immediately. Not long after, Hwarum saw the evil spirit in ancient battle clothes, making her tremble in fear. Even more frightening was that the spirit was holding the monk's head. The spirit then talked to her in Japanese. Hwarum realized that the spirit in front of her was too strong for her to deal with. For this reason, she immediately prostrated and pretended as if she was a subordinate of the evil spirit, but the spirit realized her action and immediately tried to attack her. She quickly escaped from the place. Bong-gil came to help with an iron rod. He stabbed the spirit, but it didn't do anything to it, and instead, he was attacked and left unconscious. When the spirit was about to attack Hwarum, he saw a small temple which made him remember something. The spirit suddenly cast a spell and changed its form into a ball of fire, then left from there. Soon-dok and Yeon-jun couldn't believe what they had just seen. After the spirit left, Hwarum immediately told Soon-dok to call an ambulance to save Bong-gil. Shortly after, the ambulance arrived and Bong-gil was rushed to the hospital and was able to get treatment. Meanwhile, Soon-dok returned to the temple to check the situation to find out who the spirit was. Remembering the words of the monk who said that the goods of the grave thieves were stored in the temple warehouse, he looked around until he found a photo of the thieves referred to by the monk. After seeing the picture, Soon-dok realized that the group of thieves referred to by the monk was not a group of grave thieves, but rather the gravediggers back then. After finding a few clues about the truth, Soon-dok returned to the tomb to look for other clues. Meanwhile, Hwarum, who was currently in the hospital accompanying Bong-gil, was visited by Bong-gil's relatives. Knowing that Bong-gil's condition was because his body was possessed by the evil spirit, Hwarum asked Bong-gil's relatives to carry out a spirit summoning ritual to find out who the evil spirit really was. When the ritual was carried out, Hwarum asked who the evil spirit really was and the reason he possessed Bong-gil. The evil spirit responded by saying that he was a Japanese war general who served the emperor at that time and currently aimed to find a new vessel for his soul, so you come back to life to protect an object that was entrusted to him. Meanwhile, Sundak, who was digging in the grave to look for something that was hidden, was shocked when he found the body of the evil spirit that had returned to the place he was initially buried. Sundak came to Young Jun to discuss something about his discovery, namely a cursed iron that cursed the land, and if they wanted to break the curse, they had to immediately find the cursed iron, which was probably buried in the site where they found the evil spirit's coffin. They then told Warum about it, and she responded that searching for the cursed iron was the same as facing death itself. But since it was the only way to save Bong Gil from letting his body be taken by the evil spirit, she agreed to Sundak plan to look for the cursed iron. They then lured the evil spirit out of his grave. Suddenly, Bong Gil experienced convulsions and the conversation ended there. While the doctor was treating Bong Gil, Warum saw that the evil spirit did not injure Bong Gil's body part where there were tattoos on it. They had the idea to make temporary tattoos on their faces so that the evil spirit wouldn't hurt them. In short, Warum, Sundak, and Young Jun returned to the evil spirit's grave. Before the evil spirit showed up, they put fish to lure the evil spirit to come out. And when they felt that all the preparations were finished, they hid to wait for the evil spirit to wake up. At night, they saw the evil spirit take the bait they had placed. At the same time, Bong Gil's relatives were getting ready at the hospital in case something bad happened. Where the evil spirit appeared and was lured to a tree that had been smoked, Sundak and Young Jun immediately rushed to the grave to dig the cursed iron, while Warum bought them time by trying to talk to the evil spirit, pretending that she was the guardian spirit of the hill. Warum, who knew that the evil spirit still thought that they were still in a war, told him that the war was over, but the evil spirit didn't believe her and said that the war was not over. Warum, while holding back her fear, tried to tell the evil spirit to leave the hill. However, the evil spirit refused to comply and arrogantly said that he didn't want anyone but the emperor to order him. Meanwhile, Sundak and Young Jun were frustrated because they couldn't find what they were looking for. Even the hoe that Sundak brought was broken. Young Jun thought that it was no longer safe for them to continue their job. Their lives were increasingly threatened, while Warum, who was currently buying time for them, her action was discovered by the evil spirit, who immediately tried to attack her. Luckily, an old lady who turned out to be the ancestor of Warum came to help her, allowing her to escape from the evil spirit. She rushed to meet Sundak to ask if he had found the object he was looking for. She then met Young Jun, who immediately told her that they couldn't find anything at all. Suddenly, a ball of fire, the embodiment of the evil spirit, headed towards the grave. Sundak, who was still in the grave, was left shocked to face the evil spirit right in front of his face. The evil spirit was about to grab Sundak to take his heart, but this was prevented by Warum and Young Jun by pouring the evil spirit with white horse blood they had prepared until he disappeared. They immediately tried to save Sundak, but unexpectedly, the evil spirit came back and immediately grabbed them. At that moment, Sundak realized something he didn't expect, that the cursed iron he was looking for was actually in the evil spirit's body, and realized that to defeat the evil spirit, who was likened to metal and fire, would be weak against wet wood, which symbolizes the opposite of the cursed iron. When he saw the hoe handle near him, he immediately hit the evil spirit, which in an instant, immediately in pain. Sundak kept beating the evil spirit to kill him. Right when the evil spirit finally disappeared, Bong Gil regained his consciousness. In short, after this incident, Warum and Young Jun stayed at the hospital to monitor Sundak's health. Bong Gil recovered soon after and joined them to accompany Sundak. After a few months, Sundak had recovered from the injury, while the trauma still haunted Warum as if she was still followed by the evil spirit, but over time that nightmare was slowly forgotten. The film ended by showing the four of them having a peaceful life, taking a picture at Sundak's child's wedding.